Okay, if we can have everyone coming back into rows, please. Rows, please. In your clubs. Okay, so if we can come back into rows and we will get started.
Can I have all Pathfinder area coordinators please to meet me behind the stage? All packs behind the stage now. Thank you.
Can we have a round of applause for the New Bold Drum Corps? Okay, so I can see most of you are in rows. Can I ask everyone to get in rows? We are about to start the afternoon program. It's started, but yeah. Okay, before we start, okay, so this afternoon, who knows what honor we will be doing? Crickets, okay. Anybody? I think I heard a whisper somewhere. I'm hoping the community service honor. Yeah? Club leaders, you have the worksheets from the GC? Yeah. Okay, so before we get into that, and we'll say a prayer if the leaders don't have the worksheets. Let us pray so that we can start the afternoon program. Let us pray. Pathfinders, attention! That was sloppy. Let's start it again. As you were. Pathfinders, attention! Nice. Prayer attention. Dear Father in heaven, we are so grateful that we can gather in person again. I'm grateful for the service that has gone on before. As we learn how to do service for our community, help us to learn more about you and how we can serve others so that you get all the glory. Be with us in all we do and continue to be with those that are outside as well as they serve the communities as well. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Okay. Oh. Pathfinders, attention. Stand at ease. Stand easy. Please be seated. Okay, everyone. So, club leaders, I will need you to find the worksheets which was sent into the group chat, the area group chat. If you are having any troubles with that, please just indicate by raising your hands and someone will direct you. Okay, we have one hand raised. Birdie. Hi. Can you help the lady over here? Some people don't know what the group chat is. Yeah, they're the club leaders. Area group chat. Oh.
Okay, folks, so club leaders, the worksheet link was sent to your area group chat. So, club leaders, log on to that and share that link with your young people who have their mobile phones or their tablets, etc. If not, the club leader, you will fill in the form on behalf of your club when we go into your groups, okay? So, club leaders, either you go onto your area group chats, find the link and share it with your young people with you today, or club leaders, you fill out the form and activity worksheet on behalf of your club when we go into the group discussions. Thank you. Over to you.
Okay, so whilst we're finding that, yes, you're in your rows, but if you just sort of huddle a little bit and then we'll reconvene so that you can be in your clubs as you do the honour. So who's done the community service honour before? Anyone done? Has anyone done the community service ADRA honour? Yeah. Okay, cool. So I'm going to be calling on you because you're our experts today. You're going to wish you didn't say that. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay. Have we all got that link now? Yeah? Can I just get a little wave if you've got the link so I know where we're at? Yeah, fab, 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 bro, bro. Okay, so the link would have been sent to your area group chat to the club leaders. So, yes, so if you are the area coordinator for area 8, please may I ask for that to be sent into the group chat so that everyone can participate. Okay. And area 6A, please may I ask for the area coordinator to send that into the group chat. Okay. Whilst that's getting started, do we have any avid readers amongst us? Anyone that quite like reading? I will need to read. You're looking at me. Yes, you were looking at me before. Can I ask for you to be... Okay, no problem. Anyone would like to be a reader for me today? Just a few verses. Just a few. Brilliant. Excellent. Thank you. So this is to answer the first part of the honor. Okay, so as part of community service, it comes up quite a bit in the Bible. So we're just going to be reading the first verse. That one. So it's found in Isaiah chapter 58, verse 3 to 12. And the question that we are asking is explain what you think God is asking us to do to help the poor and suffering in our community. So I'm going to be asking everyone what they think about this particular verse. Okay, so it's Isaiah chapter 58, verse 3 through to 12. Are we all together? Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic.
I'll be reading from the New King James Version. Why have we fasted, they say, and you have not seen? Why have we afflicted our souls, and you take no notice? In fact, in the day of your fast you find pleasure and exploit all your labors. Indeed, you fast for strife and debate, and to strike with the fist of wickedness. You will not fast as you do this day, to make your voice heard on high. Is it a fast that I have chosen, a day for a man to afflict his soul? Is it to bow down his head like a bulrush, and to spread out sackcloth and ashes? Would you call this a fast, and an acceptable day to the Lord? Is this not the fast that I have chosen, to loose the bonds of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, to let the oppressed go free, and that you break every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry, and that you bring to your house the poor who are cast out? When you see the naked, that you cover him, and not hide yourself from your own flesh. Then your light shall break forth like the morning, your healing shall spring forth speedily, and your righteousness shall go before you. The glory of the Lord shall be your rear guard. Then you shall call, and the Lord will answer. You shall cry, and he will say, Here I am. If you take away the yoke from your midst, the pointing of the finger, and speaking wickedness, if you extend your soul to the hungry and satisfy the afflicted soul, then your light shall dawn in the darkness, and your darkness shall be as the noonday. The Lord will guide you continually and satisfy your soul in drought and strengthen your bones. You shall be like a watered garden and like a spring of water whose waters do not fail. Those from among you shall build the old waste places. You shall raise up the foundations of many generations, and you shall be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of the streets to dwell in.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so in your groups, I'm going to give you 3 minutes German time, yeah? Like 3 minutes on the dot to discuss what you think God is asking us. So that's you to do to help the poor and suffering in our community. So the questions, you have them on the link. I will be asking 2 groups, and I'm going to say it now. One of them's going to be at the back. So I'm going to need you to find, to give me some answers as to what do you think God is asking us to do to help the poor in our community. You have 2.5 minutes. Thank you. But in a nutshell, development is about like long-term releases in response to an emergency. So we have a minute left before we come back with some answers. And we are back. Okay, does anyone want to volunteer themselves to give us some of their answers? Okay. So if we all recall, the question was, what do you think God is asking us to do to help those that are suffering? Yeah. Yeah? I won't be able to hear you, so I'm going to need you to come on up. Okay, the stairs are just around the corner. Yeah, they come up.
What I wrote down was to loose the bonds of wickedness, to undo heavy burdens, to let the oppressed free, and to break every yoke.
Can we get a round of applause? Well done, well done. And 7? Yep, if you come up quickly. I'm going to ask if anyone from Brixton has an answer, if they could come up, please. Brixton Church. If you have an answer to that question, just come on up.
God asks us to respect the poor by fasting because it's important that we understand what they're going through, and to us to understand, like, we need to be closer to Him and help the poor to go to heaven.
Thank you. Wow, some real good team support. Okay, Brixton, I'm coming to you for question number 2. So the question is, thank you so much, well done to both of those that have given answers. Actually, this question's for everyone. So what do the letters in the word ADRA stand for? So if everyone can shout out what the word A stands for, the first A. What was that? Nice. Okay, so Adventist. And in your groups, I'm going to give you some time to just discuss what does that really mean? What does it mean to be Adventist? And the second letter is D. What does that stand for? I don't think we're too sure on that one. If you can say it a bit louder, what does the D stand for? Wow, I heard that from the back. Well done, guys. Yeah, development. Okay, and the R? Nice, nice. And the last A? Agency. Okay. What's the difference between development and relief? So, over in Brixton, does anyone have an answer for me? What is the difference between development and relief? I can't hear you, so I'm going to need... Okay, fantastic, brilliant. Come on up. Okay, sweet. Thank you. Mason, you're going to give the next answer.
The difference between development and relief is that development is when you change for the better, and relief is when you're like taken away from something bad. If that makes sense.
Well done. Can we give a round of applause, please? Well done, well done. And your name is Serena. Give a round of applause for Serena, everyone. Thank you. You can go back. And we have the dictionary definition. So that was a very, very, very close to the dictionary definition. I'm not sure if she was checking, but yes.
The short version from the dictionary is that development is long-term, while relief is for emergencies.
Fantastic. So you can write that down for question number 2, part 1, what the difference between development and relief is. And so the next question, which I'm just going to give you time to talk amongst your group, talk about the local organizations that serve the poor and disadvantaged in your community and what the services provide. So we're still in a pandemic, but during that time we really saw different organizations coming together. So I want you to be creative. Think about those that are quite local to you, maybe some that you started yourselves within your church, whatever it may be, and just talk about those local organizations and write down in that form exactly what those organizations do. If you can come up with at least 3, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to do that again, and then we'll come back together. Do you have the link? The link. The link. So the question is, just again to repeat in case you don't have it. So talk about a local organisation that serves the poor and disadvantaged in your community and what services it provides. So organisations that specifically help those that are poor and disadvantaged in your communities. So it may be something that's national, maybe something quite local to you. So yeah, just write who they are and what they do. Okay, this is the last call for those that are at the back. Can I ask that you move as close to the stage as possible? Can I ask everyone to move as close to the stage as possible? Part 3 is going to be done in a very special way, but we need you to be as close to the stage as possible to do that. Okay, so this is specifically for those that are at the back. Okay, we're going to move on, and this is the last part of the program. And I'm just going to give you time in your groups to plan and or plan, more planning this time, a community service project. Now, this is going to be something for your Pathfinder club to do when you're back at home for at least 9 months. So it's a nice project that you can do all together. And again, I want you to be very, very creative. As I said, the COVID pandemic taught us that there are lots of needs in our community, and they may be different in yours than they are to mine. So be very creative and specific, not just to your church, but to the community around them. So I'm going to give you some time now to plan that amongst your groups. As I ask those at the back, please, please come forward and be in an orderly row towards the front. Thank you.
Joey.
Okay, can I get everyone's attention, please? Can I get everyone on the outskirts to come in, please? Let's look presentable. We've got some very important dignitaries with us this afternoon. So let's show them how good pathfinders can behave. So can we order ourselves accordingly, please? Folks, can you come in? If you're eating, can you go to the back of the parade square, please? If you're eating on a picnic, whatever you're doing, can you go to the back so we have some professionalism at the front, please? Thank you. Can we all come in, please? If you're on the outskirts, can you move forward, please? Club leaders, can you get a hold of your children? And they're not playing games on the outside. It is still the Sabbath. Can we all come in, please? Thank you. Wrap up now.
Okay, I didn't get to everyone. We didn't get to everyone. But we have a few responses about what you will be doing in your communities. So, I spoke to Reading, Ghana, yeah? And they had two ideas in mind. One of them was to do a boot sale, garage sale, that kind of vibe, and also to sell some paintings. So we've got some good things over there. If you're looking to get some new paintings or a nice bargain, head over to Reading, Ghana in a few weeks, and I'll ask you to put anything that you do in the messenger. And actually, I'll ask anyone, if you do anything for this project, just put it in the messenger so we know what everyone's doing. I spoke to East London Portuguese Church. Hey. And, wow. Oh, yes. They'll be helping the homeless by not only giving food, but also clothes, sleeping bags, yes. And then in Northwest, the Northwest Portuguese Church will be doing soup kitchen, and they will also be providing some tinned food, so things to take away, as well as hygienic products, and I think I missed one other thing, but yeah, they've got some great stuff going on over there. And finally, I've spoken to Heathrow International Church, who will be renovating and regenerating a local area. So thank you so much for speaking with me. And we also have a few other churches.
I spoke to Peterborough. Peterborough said that they would be helping out with ADRA. Hanwell said they'd read to the elderly, have a bake sale, and help the homeless. Gray said they would start a fundraiser, and in that fundraiser, the target would be families, and they would have it in the park, and that fundraiser would help to feed the homeless and help the others around.
Fantastic. Well done, everyone. So whilst you're all coming forward, as you know, we are having some very important people coming so that we can finish part 3 of this honour, which is to speak with members of our community who do some of those things that we mentioned in part 2, which is to keep the vulnerable amongst us safe. So whilst you're coming forward, I'll give you 1 more minute, and then we will have a special item before we start the next part of our programme. Okay, so if I can ask you, if you can just come forward, even if you're not part of a club, to come forward, get yourself in rows, and we will get started. Thank you.
Okay, is everyone moved in? Can we get everyone's attention, please? Let's have some reverence, some obedience. I'll wait for the pictures to be done, and then I'll start my program. Is everyone ready? Is everyone seated, please? Okay, is everyone ready? Thank you. Can you all be seated? Club leaders, get your clubs together, please. Thank you.
And can we have another round of applause for the New World Drum Corps? Yes, that's the energy we like. Well done, guys. That was absolutely fantastic. And as I mentioned before, we have some important people with us to help us answer part number 3. So as I introduce each person, can we give a hearty clap and any sort of noise, orderly noises. We have local youth worker, Mr. Clarence Jackson. And following behind, we have Pastor Clifford, who is our SEC Part Finder Director. Okay, and I'm not sure if I meant to curtsy, but we have our local mayor, Mr. Peter Taylor. I'll curtsy anyways. Am I meant to say his worship? Okay. Okay. And if any of you are in trouble, run now. We have the Assistant Chief Constable for Hertfordshire, Miss Jenna Telfer. And in and amongst you, we have got the local neighbourhood sergeant, Mr. Dave LG. He's over in the back. So again, if you're running, it's probably too late now. He's there. Okay, and I have my co-host, Janelle. Welcome her to the stage, everyone. Okay. So whilst most of us on this side are familiar with what Pathfinders is, I'm not entirely sure that all of our panel do. So for the sake of our panel, the Pathfinder Club is something I often describe as a cross between Scouts and Cadets. I'm not sure whether I'm doing a disservice to us, but we are an organisation sponsored by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and we help young people to develop not just socially, but emotionally, spiritually as well, and learn life-enriching skills. So that's a bit about what we do. We gather together like this ever so often, but we also have our local clubs. So we have here today people from Reading. If you're from Reading, give us some noise. Lovely, lovely. We have people from London. Give us some noise. We have people from Kent. Oh, they were here. We have people literally from all over the country, and even, I'm not sure here, but, we have people from Scotland too. Oh, are they here today? Anyone from Scotland? Way! So we literally have the whole UK with us. And Cornwall, my mistake. Cornwall's here too, if you're here from Cornwall. Okay, I heard a little bit of noise. Oxford, woo! And the NEC, are you here with us today? Yeah, can I just get a bit more volume so we can hear you here? Anyone from the NEC? Way, okay. Okay, so that was for the sake of our panel. Can I ask, starting from my left, if you could just describe very briefly who you are and what you do within your local borough. Yeah.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Clarence Jackson, and I'm a poet, author, preacher, and I work with young men in school with behavioral difficulties. I'm often invited to go to prisons to do talks and to go to schools to do motivational and inspirational workshops. I also run a one-to-one mentoring program where I mentor young boys on personal and professional development. Thank you.
Me? Oh, everybody knows me. I'm Pastor Clifford Herman, and I'm leading the most awesome young people in the South England Conference.
Hi everyone, I'm Peter Taylor, the elected mayor of Watford. The question I'm most often asked is, where is your chain? And the reason I don't have a chain is that in Watford, the mayor's chosen by the local town, by every resident, and it's the leader of the council, and so you're very, very welcome here today. My granddad used to always say, the sun shines on the righteous, and it's a beautiful day. For those of you who are visiting Watford, and I know many of you are, the Office of National Statistics every year does a survey to find out how happy people are, and Watford is officially the happiest place in the whole of the east of England, so you're very, very welcome here today.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jenna Telfer, and I'm the Assistant Chief Constable for Hearts Constabulary. So my role is really making sure that our officers have the skills and equipment that they need to keep everybody safe. As well as running the organisation, I'm also an operational police officer still, so I carry out roles running strategic firearms, running public order, and all those other high-risk issues that we deal with. I am going to make a bit of a plug around our police cadet scheme, so if anyone hasn't heard of it, go onto our website, have a look at it. It's for people aged 13 to 18. If anyone's interested in becoming a police officer in the future and has any spare time, get involved. It'll teach you about procedure, how to give crime advice, and how to get engaged with the public and give them some of that advice as well. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So we're going to kick off our panel questions. Those of you that are still answering the questions as we go along, you can find some things to jot inside the form. We'll start our panel questions with my co-host, Mr. Hell.
Testing. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Pathfinders. Our first question for our panel is, what benefits do youth groups have on the community? So that is, what benefits do youth group have on the community?
Okay, clearly there's a number of different things that youth groups get involved with. One really basic and simple thing, I guess, is I've seen youth groups out collecting litter. And if anyone's heard of the broken windows effect, where, you know, if people see that the local environment is downtrodden, looking a bit scruffy, actually that encourages people to commit crime. So even something as simple as picking up litter could mean that you're preventing crime in that area. When I think about some of the other things that people get involved in, such as, you know, dealing with the elderly, going out and keeping them company, that's all really important stuff that just contributes to society. I think one of the bits that you can really help with is just around the current pandemic, if you like, around mental health. So, you know, there are lots of issues in society at the moment. People have had a tough time through lockdown, especially your peers, your friends. Just keep an eye on them and give them that support, have a chat, and make sure they know where to go for advice. So you can do loads. So get involved. Thank you.
And just on that, before the rest of our panel answers, of course, mental health has really been affected, especially amongst our young people. Where should they go if they need to find some local services? Does anyone know?
I mean, I know that lots of people here aren't from Watford, but the Watford residents, we've actually got a special Watford Together website that we developed during the pandemic, and it has a whole heap of information about mental health support services available in the town, and I'm sure that other parts of the country will have similar things as well. I mean, from my perspective, I used to be a teacher teaching in an A-level college, and before that, after that, worked for a Catholic education charity. And I think we often focus on schools and the difference they make in terms of obviously achievement and aspiration. But actually, I think youth clubs play just as important role, that most of our time we're not in school. And I think youth groups do incredible work, bringing people together, raising aspiration. You know, you see the impact that they make, both in the good things that they're doing, but the people taking part, obviously, it's really, really positive for them too.
Can I say as well that youth groups help to bring people together, help with social and emotional development, provide a safe space. And I think those are some of the contributions that youth groups, because whenever there's not a youth group, people complain whenever there's crime. So they say there's nothing for them to do. So youth organization provide a space where young people can find things to do and to develop skills.
I can definitely... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to add, just around anybody locally, There's something that Watford Football Club are also doing around psychological support for 10 to 24-year-olds. So if anyone is interested in getting involved in that or seeing what they offer, then just go onto their website and you'll be able to find the information there.
Thank you very much. I can definitely relate to what Pastor just said in regards to the help with our social and emotional skills, because you would definitely, if I was younger, you would not catch me up here speaking. So I'm very grateful to the Pathfinder Club, the youth group that I am involved in, for my skills that I have developed.
Can I just maybe butt in and ask the question? If you look at these girls with the red scarves, they're called Teen Leadership Trainees. It's a course we do for 4 years. We training these kids for leadership, and so one of the things we want to do is get accreditation for that kind of program, in our community. What would you advise us to help, actually get that, just like the Duke of Edinburgh, that kind of accreditation for kids?
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant idea, and we're very happy to help with that and can raise it. And I think it's probably something like the Lord Lieutenant or someone like that would be able to help with as well. But I must say, I think the two people co-hosting are doing a brilliant job, and they're an absolute asset to the Pathfinders and a great symbol of what Pathfinders do.
Thank you very much. I believe you kind of, Mr. Taylor, answered this second question that I'm about to ask. That's perfectly fine. That question was, what are ways your office is promoting better youth engagement? So you can still go ahead and answer that.
Yeah, so I do lots of, go out, visit schools, visit youth groups, talk to people. The thing that I always find, I've got 3 children of my own who are aged 11, 9 and 5. And especially the 11-year-old, the worst thing to do is to patronize young people and to talk down to them. I think it's really important to listen to young people. They've got fantastic ideas, very passionate about a whole heap of issues. And I think in people in roles such as mine, it's really important to hear that voice and not just to listen and nod, but actually to take action based on it as well.
That's true. That is very true. Anyone else?
Do you want me to come in on that as well? Yeah. So, well, within all of Hertfordshire, but again, specifically for Watford, because that's where we are today, we've got some PCSOs on the local safer neighbourhood team. Oh, it's music. We've got...
That was your cue.
Sorry.
To sing.
I'll give you a song if you want. You probably prefer it to me talking. Yes, we've got a couple of PCSOs who go into the schools on what they call peace days. So this is about talking to young people about crime, talking about making those positive decisions. So, thinking about your actions, thinking about what you're doing. One of the big issues we have in society is the misuse of drugs, and actually people get involved in that at all ages. So it's just trying to encourage people to not go down that path, think about what else there is out there. And that's coming back to that youth group point, is that the more people have to get engaged and get involved with, then the less likely they are to turn to crime and do something like that.
One of the things actually, and I know she made a joke about, when you see a policeman, you run. So, what would you say to a young person, young teenager, to say, look, the police are not, a department to be feared. The police are not. If you see a policeman, don't fear him, but he or she's your friend. And how would you actually do that for them?
So, absolutely, we are you. So I am Jenna. I live in my own community. My kids go to school in my community. They're just normal people. There's a uniform, but actually they're exactly the same as everybody else. They're there to help. They're there to talk to you. Don't be afraid to approach them. If anyone wants to play with the sirens or talk to the dogs, just go up to them because they like doing all that sort of stuff. And we deal with some really difficult things, but this is the stuff we enjoy, actually going out into the community, talking to people, and also educating and letting people understand a bit about our role as well. So do not fear the police. The police are your friend. Come and talk to us, and we'll help you out.
Thank you very much. You guys are so... You just let the conversation flow well, because that was a question, are the police safe?
Sorry.
No, it's perfectly fine.
I didn't know those questions. Sorry.
So we're going to tap into money a bit, Mr. Taylor, or anyone else here. So My question to you is, what funding is available to youth services?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So, again, I know that lots of people here aren't from Watford, but those Watford groups, I have a mayor's scheme where I give out donations to local groups to support their work, and so people can apply to the Mayor's Small Grants Fund. That funding always goes really quickly because there's loads and loads of fantastic groups in Watford, and I know that the County Council, the police fund other projects as well. Money is difficult for loads of groups, but I think it's really important that we prioritise this because we know what a big difference it makes, and that's something that we've done at Watford Council.
Yes.
And also, it's important to check out what's happening in your local borough, because there are many organizations who are willing to fund different projects. So it's best to identify what you have to contribute and then seek out those organizations. If you just type in funding for knife and gun crime, funding for mental health, you'll be amazed how many organizations are willing to support. Some of the applications are long, but if you're determined, you'll definitely get something by faith.
Can I just ask also, maybe this is a church organization, so it's spiritual organ. So we do lots of spiritual stuff as well, and biblical stuff. For a group like this, right? It's a uniform group. Do you think, both of you can answer that? Do you think, a place for the spiritual aspect of your community? Is there a place for the church? Is there a place for a religious or a Christian young person in a community, and what would that be?
Yeah, thank you. My view is that we're not just physical, mental, we are spiritual beings, and it's important that we recognise that. So my background, when I said I worked for a charity, it was actually the Catholic Education Service that oversee over 2,000 Catholic schools in England and Wales. And there is actually in politics, I think, often a tension that some people see religion as a negative and they want to keep it out of the public space. From my perspective, religion's a huge positive. It makes a massive difference in this country, and actually it's important for organisations like councils to work closely with the faith community so we can together make a big difference.
Can I add to that? What I've discovered over the years is that spirituality have often been ignored in schools, sometimes in organizations. But one thing I've learned over the past few years is that if your spirituality is not right, you'll get nothing right. You won't get your money right, you won't get your focus right, you won't get your relationship right. So spirituality is at the foundation of great success. So I believe that what we need as a church, as Pathfinder leaders, is to find spirituality need to find its right place in the home, in the school, in the community, and in society.
I think for me, really, it's about values. So, all the things that you teach about being good people, helping the community. So that's really where it comes into play from a policing perspective is, ultimately we want people to be good. We don't want people to be bad. And I think everything you teach within various religions teaches people to act in a good way, which can never be a bad thing for us.
So jumping off from that discussion, thank you. Jumping off from that discussion, what should the church role be in community building and management related to the post-COVID agenda? Should I say that one more time? Yeah, okay. What should the church role be in community building and management related to the post-COVID agenda?
I think in terms of the post-COVID agenda, so one of the big issues we're having at the moment is around vaccinations, particularly from underrepresented groups. So, if church leaders are willing to engage with that and support the health programme around vaccinations, then clearly that's going to make it a better post-pandemic world anyway. I think what you're already doing around running these groups, getting kids involved, that's a huge thing. So more of the same, really.
I agree entirely with the point about vaccinations. Before we had the COVID pandemic, I think that across the country we had a loneliness pandemic in this country. And actually, churches play a huge part about creating community, sense of belonging, giving people a place to meet each other. And there may be people of faith or no faith. I know that Stanborough Park Church here has lots and lots of groups that come and meet. And for many of those residents, it's a really crucial part of their week that they come to meet people. And I think as we come out of COVID and hopefully move on from it, we will have, big mental health issues, but big loneliness issues, and I think the church can play a huge part in that.
Right, right.
Yes, and I also think from a church perspective, which I'm a church leader, is that and I thank you for answering that question, that the one I asked, in terms of we have a role to play, and a lot of not a lot of churches, I shouldn't say that, but some Christians or religious feel that we are not on our own, but we need to be separate from the world, you know? And I think it's different. I think it needs to be part of the world, that people say, you know? And I think from a church point of view, and from a church viewpoint, is that we should, as Christians, do our best to be connected with the rest of the community, and try our best to connect and not be separate in a sense.
It was Martin Luther King who said that the church should be the conscience of society. And Jesus says that the church should be the house of prayer for all nations. So the church has a role in the community, where the church should be the lighthouse of the community. I believe the church should be involved in everything that's affecting the community, both politically, economically, spiritually. So the church should be the center of the community. The church has a role to play when it comes to the decision-making, from local authority to police. So I believe that the church should have an influence in every organization, every decision that is made. I believe that the church should have a powerful voice.
Thank you very much. So what we're going to do is just quickly jump right back into youth support. So what tools or support can the police and other agencies offer to youth services?
To youth services or to youths?
To youth.
Okay. So I've already talked about the cadet scheme, the peace scheme, the stuff that Watford are doing. I mean, we've got gangs and knives teams who specifically look at people who are going down the wrong path, to give them some support and assistance. We work with other agencies, so community volunteers, to try and, again, divert people away from going down the wrong line. The police have got lots and lots of initiatives, and I think the best thing I could say is to have a look online and see what is out local to you, because obviously we've got a lot in Hearts, but that's national as well. So all police forces will have local things. There's things like, taking kids to box, taking kids to play football, all of that sort of stuff. So there's a lot going on. You just need to have a little look around for it.
Fabulous, thank you so much. I want to give an opportunity for those in our audience to ask questions. So does anyone have a question for our panel at all? Whilst you're thinking of that question, I'm just going to ask one more, and then you can come on up, actually. Right. I don't want to go straight into a tough question. So, as Pastor Clifford has spoken about, we have the teen leadership training program. So lots of there's quite a few in the red scarf at the moment, and going off from that, they might want to become leaders in their local communities. How do they go about becoming something like a young mayor in their local borough or council?
From my experience, it's all about actually stepping up and asking to meet the people that are making decisions. So I would encourage people here to be bold and to contact their local councils, the local MPs, and say, we want to start this conversation and talk about the things that we feel are important to our community. I would hope that politicians, whichever party, whichever part of the country, would welcome that with open arms and be keen to start those conversations.
Fabulous. And just on the back of that, what do young mayors actually do for their borough?
So young mayors, they often, it's part of it's about learning about the role and understanding more about what councils do, but also going out, meeting people, involved in community activities. So it's a really fantastic role, and I, of course, would encourage people to get involved if they can.
Thank you, fantastic. So you've heard it here first, you can become a young mayor too. Does anyone have a question for our panel? Yep, come up if you can, because I won't be able to hear you from there. If you just come up. Tell us your name and what club you're from.
Julia, and I'm from.
Hold your mic close.
My name is Julia. I've got a question to the police officer.
Keep close to your mic.
How does it feel to work at the police? Is it cool? Or like, do you guys kill loads of people?
We try really hard not to do that. So is it cool? So there is something really fun about driving fast in a police car. That doesn't get old, no matter how long you've done it for. I think there's, we help vulnerable people, so we could go from dealing with someone who is struggling emotionally, so they might be trying to take their own life, and that's actually quite hard, but we need to be there to help them, to something completely the other end of the scale, like someone stealing sweets from Marks and Spencer's or Tesco's. So it's a really varied job, and no day is the same. So I think anyone thinking about it, then absolutely it's an amazing job. You get so much opportunity to see different things and different situations. And as I say, there are bits of it that are really fun. Equally, there are bits of it that are really hard. And we've had some difficulty this week where protesters have been sitting down on the M25. And sometimes people are critical of the police. But all I'd say is just try and see the full picture, that not everything is as simple as it first appears, and just try and understand what is going on, because sometimes it's more difficult than people think, but it's very rewarding. If you get to, and what we're really trying to do at the moment is go with the ethos of prevention first, so actually stop people from becoming victims in the first place, and doing that by working with community groups, working with the local public to try and stop those crimes from happening in the first place. So it's a great career. I've enjoyed it.
Can we get a round of applause for Julia for being very brave, and thank you very much, Chief Constable, as well. Does anyone else have a question for our panel? Come on. So those will be our last questions for the moment. So tell us your name and what church you're from.
My name is Joy, and I come from Slough.
What's your question?
And my question is for the mayor. And my question was, what made you want to be a mayor?
Thank you for that question. So I've always been interested in kind of the local community. That's why I was a teacher previously, and about making a difference. And I think most people, you'd hope that most people, they get involved in jobs like mine. It's actually about helping people and making the town better. So over the last few years, we've done a lot of work in Watford, making our parks even better. That was a real thing that I wanted to see achieved. Anyone who here is a keen skateboarder, if you're staying for any time in Watford, we've just opened a skate park in Oxley. And I was reliably informed recently it's the largest outdoor skate park in Europe. So it's proved really, really popular. And so doing things like that make a real difference for people is what motivates me and why I became the mayor.
And can we have a round of applause for Joy as we welcome the next person to the stage?
I'm Sadie, and I have a question for the mayor. How hard was the mayoral election?
Oh, good question. It's like having Jeremy Paxman. So it was hard. So I was elected in 2018. I'm a Liberal Democrat. I was competing against a Labour and a Conservative candidate. And when you're elected mayor, it's for 4 years. And so I'll be up for election. The voters of Watford can decide whether or not I keep my job next May. And the local Liberal Democrats decided I could be their candidate this week. So I'll be standing in an election in a few months' time.
Okay, thank you.
Well done, Zeldy. Okay. And if you come up.
I'm Melissa from Rising Stars. I am Melissa from Rising Stars.
Okay, and what's your question?
My question is for the mayor. What's the hardest part of being the mayor? Like, what's the challenge of being a mayor?
Yeah, these are fantastic questions. So the hardest part about being mayor is that you can't please everyone all the time. You've got to make some tough decisions. So in the last 10 years, the amount of money that Watford Council gets from the government has reduced by 70%. And so we've had to look at different ways to raise money. But it does mean you've got a limited budget. There's only so much you can do. And making those choices is tough. And I think during the COVID period as well, there were some really challenging times over those months. So, yeah, making tough decisions when you know you can't please everybody all the time is I think, what's the most difficult.
Well done, Melissa, for your wonderful question, and thank you for your answer. Round of applause for Melissa, please. And we have a...
My name is Julia, and I come from Torquay Church.
Well done. And what's your question?
My question was for the police. How do you cope with the violence of the people?
That's a really good question, and I suppose that's one of the things that makes the job really difficult, because none of our officers go to work every day to, be assaulted or deal with someone who's violent. But unfortunately, that's what we're there to do. So the way we deal with that is making sure that people have the right skills and equipment to be able to deal with that. So we train all our officers. They go several times a year to have what we call officer safety training, where they're taught how to safely deal with people, whether that is dealing with someone punching them or someone trying to attack them with a knife. We also have something called taser, which you might have heard of, which is a non-lethal, it looks a little bit like a gun, but it's not. They're usually bright yellow. And what that does is give an electric shock to somebody so that they can't continue to be violent. It affects the muscles and essentially stops them from doing what they're doing. So usually people wanting to fight the police are not really trying to fight the police. They're either trying to escape from us or they're struggling, again, back to that mental health issue. So generally we're not the enemy. We're just there to deal with them, but we try and deal with them as safely as we can.
Well done. Thank you. Sorry. I have one more question for the panel. Unfortunately, we're coming up to a close. We have one other question after this as well. So we've seen throughout the pandemic, as you've mentioned, disadvantaged groups and underrepresented groups were affected much more significantly than the rest. How do your services and how do you feel that the Pathfinder Club can address some of the issues, particularly with racial equality in their local communities?
Shall I say that one? Okay, so we always encourage people from different groups to come and get represented with anything we're doing. So, for example, engage with your local safe and neighbourhood teams, see what initiatives they're running. Going back to the question about becoming a youth mayor, actually, there's probably an opportunity to feedback from the youth group, if you like, into the police as well on a variety of issues. So, for example, we have a stop and search scrutiny panel, so people can join the panel. They can see the grounds that the officers have used for stopping and searching someone, and then feedback that information as to whether they think that was appropriate or not. And if they think it wasn't, then actually we can learn from that and take that forward. We've also got something which we call an ethics challenge panel. So again, we take an item for discussion. One recently was around vaccines for the pandemic. Should it be mandatory for police officers to be vaccinated if we're going into people's homes? However, then that comes into human rights about forcing your staff to have vaccinations. But we are doing that in some parts of the UK already, particularly in care. So yeah, just get involved, have a look what's happening in your local area, and we want to hear from you and have your opinions and your feedback.
Okay, thank you.
I was just going to add, I think one of the really important things is that we've got positive role models for everyone and that everyone feels that they've got the opportunity to reach their potential. And I know that, so the group of councillors on Watford Council is increasingly diverse. I think that's really important. But then when you look, at people like Emma Raducanu and all, lots of really fantastic people achieving great things from a range of different backgrounds, I think it's really important that we have that.
And how do you think... Thank you. And how do you think our club can support that as well?
Well, from a church perspective, first of all, our church's fundamental belief is that everybody is welcome, to be part of our movement, and there is no discrimination in sin. And I think from that positive message that we have already in our church, that's why I said when I said before that we need to be part of our community and feed that in, to say, look, There's no color or creed or anything different, that positive message can be brought to our community.
I think a three-way strategy for me is to identify, explore, and execute. So to identify what gifts, what range of gifts lies within Pathfinder. What are the needs of the community? Is there mental, emotional, social, loss of job, loss of hope? So identify the needs. How can we meet that need and then execute? So when it comes to mental health, it doesn't care if you're black, white, Asian, man, woman, boy, or girl. It comes. So it's about identify what the needs of the people are and also just trying to meet it. And also for Pathfinder, a lot of people didn't want to come out their house. So if you beat that drum on the high street, people will come out to even take some fresh air. So that's something I'll just throw in there.
Can I just ask a question of you? Just around what I've been talking about and how you can get involved in that prevention of crime. Is there a badge that you earn already in relation to that or not? If not, then can we talk about that?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Community awareness, community achievement. There's loads. I should give you a book. There's like thousands that we give out. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. That's a very important question. And guys, do have a look at the various community honours. And our final question for today was that question. So thank you so much for taking part in our panel and answering all our questions wonderfully. Have they been a fantastic panel, guys? Yes. Thank you very much. So we'll give you another round of applause and make the noise orderly after this comment.
So before we let you guys go, we want to give you something from us to you. I want to welcome you into our Pathfinder community by giving you one of our pins and a Pathfinder scarf. Yes. Okay, so Pastor, do you want to head that over?
Well, yes. We just want to say this week we had Wear Your Scarf Week. And so young people had to wear their scarf and tell about Pathfinders. And when they wear their scarf, they get our iconic scarf pin. So we want to hand you one of our iconic scarf pins to give you there. We also want to give you one of our very posh shopping bags. One of our actually this one. This one has a trolley coin as well. Thank you very much. And some leaflets about Pathfinders in there. Okay. And we also, I need to take this out, and I'm going to take it out. Now, can you stand up, please? You're a Pathfinder, right? Oh. So we're going to get you one later, right? Get you one later. So, can you hold the mic for me? We want to scarf you today and make you an honorary Pathfinder member. All right?
Can we give a round of applause and a cheer for this?
You're an honorary Pathfinder member, and you're welcome to join any Pathfinder club, and they should welcome you to the Pathfinder club.
Thank you very, very much.
And can we get another cheer?
There's one more gift.
Thank you very much. And I will say I can also play the drums. So if you need any drummers, then join in our next time.
Okay. And what drum do you play?
I was a lead tipper drummer in a Martin jazz band.
Oh, wow.
Also, it is also what we're celebrating today is the 71st anniversary of Pathfinders around the world. And so the British Union, the United Kingdom has made a special pin. So we want to give you that and welcome you. So now you are fully Pathfinders. Can you say the Pathfinder pledge, please?
I promise. What's the next bit?
No.
So I want to say a thank you again to our wonderful panel. if you're still around, will you be available to answer any questions from our pathfinders? So if you weren't able to come up or you weren't able to ask your question right here, you can find them. You can find them after the program. So thank you very much again for your wonderful answers.
Somebody needs to blow this for me. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Look behind you. Can you see something big and round? And how many can you see? 4. Well, it's beach ball game activity time. And this is the time where you can get a little exercise in. This is a time where you can have a little bit of movement time. Is the band in the house? Are the band in the house? I need the band on the stage, please, if the band is in the house. Thank you. Right, so here are the instructions for the game. Everyone can play. Anyone can play. The objective of the game is to keep the beach ball moving. What did I say? Right, so you keep the beach ball moving. Do we have the band in the house? Do we have the band in the house? Okay, we keep the beach ball moving. When you hear the whistle blow, the beach ball stops moving. What does the beach ball do when the whistle blows? Right. Now, in among you, there are some people with a challenge card. If you are near, I see one of our beach balls has gone already. If you are near or anywhere near a beach ball when the whistle blows, I will challenge you to come to the stage and complete a simple challenge. Yeah, and you can come in with your friend, you can come in with a little group of you, it doesn't matter. Got it? Alberto, where's the band? Do you know? The band. Huh? No, the praise team band. Okay, where are the beach balls? Are we ready to keep now you can keep the beach ball moving in the air or on the floor. It's up to you, but let's keep the beach balls moving. Off we go. Bounce, throw that. Hello. Stop. The beach ball, hello. The beach ball needs to be where the people are, not where the empty grass is. Hello? Beach ball over here, this way, where the people are, not where the empty grass is. Okay, I see this lot over there doing it really well. Excellent. Push that beach ball around. Throw it in. You need to bring the beach ball into the audience so that it can be moved around in the air, on the floor. Excuse me, do you know where the band are? Okay, where are my challenge people? Are we ready? Keep that beach ball in the air. Keep it going. Huh? Okay, the media suite section is out of bounds for the beach ball, please. Where are my challenge people? Can I see my challenge people with your challenge cards in the air? Ready? Challenge people, go and choose someone for me on the whistle. Anyone, tell them to come to the stage for a challenge. Stop! Challenge, off you go. Black and red challenge. Black and red challenge. Send them to the front. Black and red challenge, come. Come on the stage. Okay, the beach ball's supposed to be stopped, but hey. Right, your challenge is, can you recite a memory verse for me?
The Lord is my shepherd. Okay, Genesis 1 verse 1. God created the heavens and the earth.
Thank you, well done. Stand there, don't go. Right, your challenge is do 5 star jumps. Thank you, well done. And your challenge is name a child in the Bible who had an encounter with a special person. Jesus, yeah, okay, right. Stand there, well done. Okay. Look at the challenge balls have gone. Can we bring the balls over this way, please? Oh. Hello? The ball is supposed to be with the audience, not on the empty field. Where are they going with the challenge balls? What? Maybe the audience need to move with the ball rather than the ball to the audience, right? Hello? Adults, it's for the children, not for you adults. Keep that ball up. Keep it up. Push it. Get it away. Okay. Anyone with a challenge card? Blue challenge card. I want a blue challenge card. Blue challenge cards. Come to the front if you have a blue challenge card. Stand there because I've got a surprise to give you. Stand there, all right? Stand there. Blue challenge card. Come to the front. Okay, the blue challenge is name 5 books in the Old Testament.
Genesis, Exodus.
Can't hear you. Say it again.
Genesis, Exodus, Ruth,
Leviticus.
Leviticus, 1 Kings,
And one more.
2 Kings.
Thank you. Well done. Stand there. And your challenge is name me 5 books in the New Testament.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Revelation.
One more.
And Jude.
Thank you. Well done. Okay, let's keep the ball going. Keep the ball going. I see 1. Keep them up. Let's go. Keep them up. Up in the air, not in your arms. Hello? Why is that ball stood still? Keep the ball up in the air. Let's keep it going. Right, what have we got? Blue, red, so we've got black and green. Okay. Green challenge card. Give out the green challenge card, please. Do you have a challenge card? Is this the band? Yes, please, we need music. Green challenge card holders, please come. Who has the green challenge card? No, but they're not stopping. So what can I do? You want to? Oh, come. Come. jumping jacks challenge. Off you go. 1, 2.
My trousers went louder.
All right. Squat down and stand up 10 times. Right, can you go and get them? Bring them here. Thank you. All the balls to the front, please. All the balls to the front. Thank you. Right, you all have a gift each. You can choose. Mango or a pineapple. Anybody else like pineapple? Yes. Mango. Everybody got something? Thank you all very much. Well done. Off you go. Thank you, everyone. Settle down now. Little excitement, a little energy. Well done. All the challengers got a mango or a pineapple. Well done. Thank you.
Hi, folks. You have a 10-minute break, and then our last service will start promptly at 4 p.m. So you can have a 10-minute break, and let's come back for our baptism and our closing service. Thank you. We return back at 4 p.m.